This is my Hyundai Ioniq 5, which I've owned for about 18 months. And during that time, there are 3 things that have kind of annoyed me about the ownership experience. Hey everybody, welcome to Cars Jubilee. My name is Victor, and on our channel we cover our Hyundai Ioniq 5, our Genesis GV60, and our Tesla Model Y. So if you're interested in that kind of EV content, make sure to check out all the other videos on our channel. But anyways, for today's video, I wanted to share the 3 things that have annoyed me the most during our 18 months of ownership with our Ioniq 5. The number one annoyance for me with my Hyundai Ioniq 5 is the 12-volt programming. Currently, if you park your car below 20% state of charge, meaning at 19 or less, you run the risk of coming back to a dead car battery. It could be 20 minutes later, it could be 8 hours later. But it's kind of a game of chicken that you have to decide whether you want to play with the 12-volt battery. Now, if the 12-volt battery dies, you won't be able to start your car. You won't even be able to auto unlock your car. You'll have to take out your key from your remote. You have to open the handle, stick the key in, unlock it, and then you basically have to jump start your 12-volt battery. That's probably not something you want to do frequently, especially if you're trying to get to work normally on time or trying to get to your kids' pickup or drop-offs on time. You just don't want to have to deal with a dead 12-volt battery all the time. Now, I'd wager there are a lot of owners out there that actually don't know about this 20% cutoff for the 12-volt. So they may not even know that they're putting themselves at risk each time they shut off the car below 20% state of charge. And then what about people that are maybe renting Ioniq 5s? Or maybe you're letting someone borrow yours? It's just a disaster waiting to happen that Hyundai could fix. Here's an actual real-life example. A couple months back, I was going to do some errands. We were going to go to Costco and go to the mall. It was just me and my 3-year-old. And I left home with about 28% state of charge. And based on my calculations, I figured I should get to Costco with around 21% state of charge. And Costco's right next to the mall. It's not even a mile away, so I should be okay. I should be able to leave that area with still 20 to 21% state of charge. It's cutting it close, but it should be enough. Well, by the time we got to the Costco mall area, I realized, oh man, I calculated wrong. I only have 90% state of charge now. Luckily, there is an EA charging station there. So I drove to the charging station. As I'm driving there, I'm checking the app. It says, as soon as we pull into that charging station area, my son says he needs to go to the bathroom. So now I'm thinking, oh man, this is gonna take a while. So I pull up next to the EV6. It's a nice couple, and I say, hey, this is what's going on. I'm at 19% state of charge. If I shut it off now, I'm probably gonna have to jump my car somehow. My son needs to go to the bathroom. Can I just sneak in front of you for 2 minutes? I just need to get about 2 to 3% into the battery, and then I'm gone. And they were really, really nice about it. They said, yeah, feel free, go ahead. And so as soon as the next spot opened up, we plugged in and I charged for 1 minute and 45 seconds. And I was able to get about 4 to 5% battery back into this thing. And then I unplugged when you thank the couple because they were super nice. And that was that. But that was a huge inconvenience because Hyundai decided 19% is the cutoff mark where the main battery will not charge the 12-volt. And so anytime I shut off the car at 19% or less, I have to play the game of chicken. All right, annoyance number 2 would be service appointment availability. Now, the very, very first time I scheduled my Ioniq 5 for service, the next available slot was about 30 days out. And in my head, I thought, that's kind of long, but hey, whatever. That's what they have. That's what's available. I'll take it. Well, the second time I tried to schedule a service visit, it was 45 days in advance. And now it's thinking, that's really long. But it's only gotten worse. Most recently, I tried to schedule a service appointment for my Ioniq 5 and my GV60, and they said it was 60 days out. And if you read on the forums, if you ask other people, that's pretty normal. There are a lot of people out there saying it's 2 to 3 months until the next available service appointment. And that's taking into account dealerships that do not have loaners available, that tell you if you want to service your car, you're going to have to use rideshare, Uber or Lyft. We do not have cars available for you. But even then, the next spot might be 2 to 3 months out. And you know, for me, it's been okay because most of my issues have been minor. But what about owners that have had failed ICCUs, heating or cooling that doesn't work, broken charge ports? I've heard stories where the owners had their cars towed to the dealership because it physically could not be driven. And when they got it there, the dealership said, sorry, your car is going to sit here for the next 3 months because we don't have an available appointment for you. It's going to sit here for 3 months, and then after that, then we'll start diagnosing, where likely it'll sit for another 3 months until it's finally fixed. I mean, that shouldn't be okay. That's kind of crazy. And now adding on to all that is the fact that we're getting recalls, we're getting different updates where the car has to go into the dealership for these fixes for every single Ioniq 5 out there. And now we have Ioniq 6s as well. And soon we're going to have Ioniq 7s. So this problem doesn't seem like it's going to go away. It seems like it's only going to get worse. Now, Hyundai could very easily push more dealerships to get EV certified, so that instead of being stuck with a small pool of dealerships to choose from, we'll have a bigger pool, a bigger network. The problem is the existing dealerships, a lot of them, their techs are already struggling to fix our cars. So now, even if Hyundai quickly certifies more EV technicians, well, most of them are going to be dealing with EVs for the very first time. And so a car that should be able to get fixed in days or weeks takes months and months and months. I'm not sure there really is a quick fix, but for sure, Hyundai needs to get more Ioniq certified dealers out there so that these wait times for service appointments can get shorter and shorter instead of longer and longer like they currently are. Today's video is sponsored by Pelsee, specifically their P10 mirror dash camera. And I have been so impressed by this thing. It's not just a dash camera, it's actually a whole rear view mirror that's digital, meaning when you're not using it, you can use it as a mirror, but when you do want to use it, well, all of a sudden you have screens. And there's 2 cameras that you can use. There's a front view, there's a back view, there's also a split view. In terms of the actual camera up front, that's this right here. You can, push it up, down, left, right, get it to whatever adjustment you want. It just kind of slides out. But the really cool part is the installation. You can see here, it's actually strapped directly onto the existing rear view mirror. So there's no removal, no uninstallation. It just straps right on. And that also means that I still get to keep my row of HomeLink buttons. I can still open my garage. Now, the actual screen itself is really, really nice. It's very responsive, as you can see. On top of that, there's also some pretty cool tech in here. It has ADAS and blind spot monitoring. With this stuff on, it'll actually give you audible chimes. It'll have lane departure warnings. It'll have blind spot warnings. Really, really cool stuff. On top of that, it's just a big mirror. So it's probably an upgrade over your existing one. Anyways, I've been really blown away by how great this thing is. The best part is that it's pretty affordable. So if you're interested, check them out on Amazon. And thank you, Pelsee, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. All right, moving on to annoyance number 3. And that would be the Bluelink app and technically the digital key app. It's glitchy, it's unstable, it's unreliable, and it's super, super slow. The Bluelink app itself has actually gone down for days, even weeks at a time. Sometimes it just won't let me log in. Other times it lets me log in, but once I'm logged in, there's nothing available on the app. Everything's grayed out, or I touch the buttons and nothing works. And it was like that for weeks at a time. And then it would get fixed and I think, oh great. And then it would happen again. I would uninstall the app thinking it was my phone, and then reinstall, still have the same issues, and then eventually jump on the forums and see Bluelink's probably down. Now, like I said before, some people don't really use the app all that often. Some people plan to use the Ioniq 5 like a normal car, just it's electric, but they don't really have expectations of using the app. Personally, I use Bluelink almost every day, or I try to. In the winter time, our Ioniq 5 typically stays out on the driveway, and in the mornings I want to preheat the cabin for myself and the kids. So every time you use the app, you open it and you can see it's trying to log you back into the app. That login process sometimes can take up to a whole minute. Once you're in and you press the remote climate start button, Then it asks you for a PIN number. You have to put in the PIN, and then you wait for it to send the command, and then you wait for it to reach the car, and that process can sometimes take 2 minutes. So there's a lot of waiting. The problem is that waiting doesn't always turn into a positive result. A lot of times those commands just time out and nothing happens. On top of that, we recently bought a Tesla Model Y, and I've been using the Tesla app, and that thing is about as good as it gets. The Bluelink app by Hyundai feels like I'm running Windows XP or iOS 7 or Android 5. Like, it feels like it's running old tech. It's way behind. Here's a recent example of some issues that I was having with Bluelink. I was at work in the afternoon, and all of a sudden I got an email notification from Bluelink saying remote climate started. Now, for context, I was 25 minutes away at a job site, and I can promise you I did not just pull out my phone, wait for it to log in, punch in a PIN, and wait for remote climate start. I did not do that. My phone was in my hand, I was working, I was taking notes, I was not using Bluelink. But for whatever reason, I got an email notification saying I remote climate started the car. So I went into the app and I checked it, but it was saying everything was off. So what in the world was going on? Well, this eventually happened again a couple days later, and from that point on, I just kind of stopped trusting the Bluelink app. Here's another example. Typically, we leave our Ioniq 5 on the driveway, and so typically we leave it locked. Every once in a while, we'll forget to lock it, and the phone sends alerts saying car unlocked, which is very helpful. The problem is, it sends it like every 30 minutes, every 45 minutes. So my phone just keeps getting alerts, alerts, alerts. And sometimes we garage the Ioniq 5. Maybe I'm charging it at home, well, then it's in the garage unlocked. And at that point, I know it's unlocked. I left it unlocked, but it's still sending me alerts saying unlocked, unlocked, unlocked. Well, recently I've noticed that Bluelink keeps sending me alerts that my car is unlocked, even when it is locked. It'll send me alerts saying unlock, and I'll check the car outside and it'll look like it's locked. I remember locking it, and I realized Bluelink is sending me old alerts saying the car is unlocked, but they're alerts from like 3 or 4 hours ago. Since then, I've already locked my car, but for some reason, it's still showing car unlocked alerts. Those are my 3 biggest annoyances about owning my Ioniq 5 over the past 18 months. And all things considered, I think that's actually pretty good. The Ioniq 5 has been an excellent EV, and truthfully, I still recommend it to a lot of people. And I've honestly really enjoyed owning it for the past 1.5 years. So yeah, these sound like complaints, but I hope Hyundai hears them and takes it as constructive criticism, so that they can make changes for the better for current and future Ioniq owners. So let us know in the comments, what do you think Hyundai needs to improve on their EVs? As always, thanks so much for watching, please like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next one.